Welcome back, folks. Well, so much is happening. I'm probably going to have to need to make a video every day and talk about this because we're what you might call in crunch time for the human species. So I wanted to bring you another video, and this one is going to be on the direction of our nation's evolution. And so first thing I want to say is if you're new to my channel, please subscribe. Click like on this video, ring the bell for notifications, share with friends and family, and leave your comments. Okay, so, and one more thing, if anybody wants to join my workshop, click on the link in the description box below. Or if you need a reading, you can click on the link below in the description box. Okay, so I'm back to look at the new moon conjunct Chiron in Aries, which I did talk about in my last video. So you can look for either a link above here or at the end of this video if you haven't seen that, or if you need to refresh on that, because this is going to be an incredibly powerful new moon and incredible things are happening. In fact, I should actually tell you this. When I did my last video, so let me just go ahead and bring that up real quick. My last video was, will Trump declare martial law? And I actually said in my video that it's not about whether or not he uses the words, or that it's like technical and official. I'm talking about the energy, okay? So and like in practical terms what that means. So anyways, just saw this video from the Today Show that said Trump activates National Guard in 3 states. So so yes, all practical, for all practical purposes, yes. And the reason why I made that video is because I think that a lot of times people use language in a way to frighten people. And so what I was trying to show you is that there's nothing to be afraid of, okay? We're all coming together now to solve this crisis, at least as far as the virus is concerned. But what I've been saying in my videos is this is more than just the virus. This is Neptune's higher law. This is the call to action for all humanity. This is about not going back to business as usual. That's what this is really about. It's a time and an opportunity to reconsider our values. So let me go back to that chart, and I'll just do a real quick review. So the first thing was the new moon conjunct Chiron. So the Chiron is the wounded healer. It's squaring the nodes, and it's also squaring the eclipse point of the December 25-26 eclipse, new moon eclipse in Capricorn at 4 degrees. And that was December 2019. And then we had the new moon eclipse at 20 degrees of Capricorn and Cancer, which got activated when Mars hit that point. And that's where everything kind of started to go crazy in terms of the energy. And then Mars conjunct Pluto and Jupiter is just magnifying all of this. But the important thing is understand that that these are actually in a trine. So Neptune is opposite Neptune. That's a reevaluation, reconsideration, reassessment of values that we're in the middle of that right now. And it's trining the Mars, Pluto, Jupiter conjunction, and trining Venus in her home sign of Taurus. And this is about the body and the material well-being. This is the 6th house of body and work. And these are the houses of our economy and our finances, the money houses, our resource houses. And this is the 4th house of home. And this is the 10th house. That's what we stand for in our public persona. So we're going to see, what does America really stand for? That's what we have to decide. The illness is here. And the reason why it's trining and sextiling and forming a beautiful kite, This is the trine, the grand Earth trine. You can see the green that forms the trine, and then it forms a sextile to Neptune. And the reason why it's in a beautiful trine and sextile pattern of the kite is because it's actually like, this is actually, I know a lot of people think that this is terrible what's happening, and you know, when is it going to end, and you know, just in fear and panic and all that stuff. But the fact is that if we don't get our act together as a human species, and as a nation, because we're one of the wealthiest, most powerful nations in the world, and we're a leader in the world, if we don't get our act together, then 18 years, when this comes around again, because it comes around every 18 years in different ways. Last 18 years was 9/11. If we don't get our act together, then 18 years from now, we, all of us on planet Earth, are going to see something that you cannot even fathom right now. If you think this is bad, you have no idea how bad it can get. And that's if we don't heed the warning now and take this seriously. And what I mean by seriously is we need to change. We're living in a paradigm of insanity, because infinite growth on a finite planet is the definition of insanity. And if we don't change, this will look like a walk in the park compared to what we will see in 18 years from now. So I'm very serious about that. That's why I keep coming back and making videos, and I'll probably make videos every day, because I am so dead serious about this. And this isn't meant to fear monger. In fact, you know, I've been watching other astrologers and readers and psychics and intuitives to see what they have to say about this. And I've just been so incredibly impressed by this spiritual community. I mean, you know, these people are just, they blow my mind. You know, they are so incredibly advanced and spiritually evolved. And I feel like I am so proud to be a part of that community. And you guys are a part of that community too. We're all together in this. And the other thing is to realize that we need to stop fighting in terms of like, is my spirituality better than your spirituality? Is my God better than your God? You know, we need to stop that right now. And I was watching a video about, somebody was doing a tour of the grocery stores in Arizona and showing, you know, yeah, sure, there's some empty shelves here, but look at how much food there is. And also, you know, he was saying, look at the abundance, and also that there is actually something deeply, deeply, there can be something deeply, deeply pleasurable and spiritual about limitations. And it's true. I mean, if you've ever wanted something, it's almost the anticipation, it's almost the desire. That's Venus in Taurus. The desire is almost more pleasurable than actually getting what you want. It's like when you fall in love with someone, you know, and that first kiss is just so delicious. But after you've been with them for 20 years and, you know, you can have them whenever you want them, then it's not so, I don't know. You know, some of the intensity of the pleasure goes away when you can have whatever you want. So there is actually a kind of eros and beauty in limitation. I know that, you know, some people are in dire straits, and so I don't want to diminish their suffering. I do want to acknowledge that there are some people who are suffering and who are very frightened right now. But the rest of us, you know, if we have our needs met, even if we're scaling back, we can still see that there's incredible abundance. And if we have our needs met, then instead of spreading fear and panic and fear mongering and, you know, like pointing fingers and creating blame and shame, we could instead see see the gift in this, because I can assure you that spirit, and I'm focusing primarily on Neptune. Neptune is at the peak of the kite here. And Neptune on our homeland is the illness and the confinement and the social isolating. But Neptune is also solitude and spiritual retreat and contemplation and sanctuary. And Neptune is giving us a gift right now to take this time to reconsider our values as a nation and as a species, because we're actually the brain of this planet Earth. Each and every one of us is a neural network, and we're all tied together. We're the consciousness of this planet. We are actually one being, and we need to create coherence and love. And if you don't know anything about brain coherence and heart math or anything like that, I would highly suggest that you do some research on it. I absolutely love the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza. He does a lot about brain coherence and heart math and the connection between the heart and the brain. I recently watched his program on Gaia, and if you've never tried Gaia, you can get it for a week for free. So I highly recommend that, if nothing else, go and watch his program. I think it's called Rewire Your Brain. And he also talks about the placebo effect, and that you can actually, through meditation, you can increase your immune system, and you can even heal yourself. So again, Gaia is offering a week free, so I highly recommend that. So the new thing I wanted to bring to you about this chart that I forgot to mention before was that the North Node is at 3 degrees over the natal Venus in Cancer in the 8th house of joint resources and joint finances. And Venus has everything to do with wealth, okay? So we're looking at Venus transiting in Taurus, that's her home sign, in the 6th house of work and body. And Taurus is everything to do with our physical well-being and the body and the material well-being. And so with Uranus is going to bring a revolution in this area of our lives when it squares Saturn, and it's already started to square Saturn. So we're already at the beginning of this revolution right now, okay? This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius. I might sing for you guys again. Oh. And we can all have a good laugh. All right, so anyway, with Venus, she's calling, and in her trine to Neptune and to the Mars, Pluto, Jupiter conjunction, and her sextile to Neptune is asking us to get in touch with our hearts, because she's all about everything that we love, everything we're passionate about. She's calling us to connect with our hearts and our passion and our love and the things that we value. And that's where abundance is. It's in the heart chakra. It's love. And as I said in another video, that's actually the Christ spirit. Unconditional love is in the heart. And if you put your arms out like that, if you stand up straight and put your arms out, and you notice that the heart chakra is at the center. Your body is actually across, and your heart is at the center. And that is the Christ spirit. That's unconditional love, and that's abundance. That's our connection to abundance. And we are channels for the divine energy. It comes down through our crown chakra all the way down through our chakras. And so it has to hit the heart. The heart needs to open wider. The heart is green light. And this planet is a green planet. This planet is also a blue planet. And the blue is the 5th chakra. That's the chakra where we create reality. And indigo is the 3rd eye chakra. So you can see the colors in the rainbow. We are actually a rainbow. We're the place where light and darkness meet. a rainbow is the place where light and darkness meet. So we're actually living rainbows. Okay, so let me show you something else that's coming, because with the North Node, actually, let me just show this real quick again. With the North Node here, the North Node is the direction of our evolution, and this is the chart of the United States. So this is the direction of our evolution, that's the North Node, right over Venus in the 8th house of joint resources and finances. So this is the house of our resources, our finances, our material well-being, and abundance, okay? And that's connecting too with the, it's, you know, the energy of Cancer is sextiling the energy of the 6th house here. So everything is actually, I mean, there is the square, you know, the new moon is creating a square to Venus and Jupiter up here in the North Node, because it's saying you need to take action. Squares are all about the pressure that you're under to take action, and we have to take action right now. The action, first and foremost, is to get people safe and save lives, because if each life matters, then we can work together to solve this problem. And we're in abundance. We know that there is enough to go around to help everybody, to keep everybody safe, to work as a human collective, you know, to still respect individually. That's the paradox. But when we evolve our consciousness, we're able to hold that paradox in our minds. So let me see what, I think I can go on. Well, before I go into the next chart, I think I want to talk a little bit more about a model of human consciousness expansion and human consciousness evolution. And so I want to talk about spiral dynamics. And this is the spiral. Now, in consciousness, there's a spiral of consciousness expansion. And if you notice, like, virtually everything in this universe is spiral shaped. It's circular, it's cyclical, it's spiral shape, it's the Fibonacci sequence, you know, I mean, you can find it. It's fundamental to our universe, to our reality. And consciousness expansion also evolves in the shape of a spiral. And that's because we come around over and over and over again to the same issues. That's exactly what the zodiac shows us, you know, that circular form that we come around over and over and over again. So we're actually coming around to something that our species dealt with 500 years ago, with the Pluto-Saturn conjunction in Capricorn. And 500, it correlated to the event, which was Martin Luther nailing his theses to the church door in protest, the Protestant Reformation, the Reformation. That's the same energy that we have now with the Pluto-Saturn conjunction in Capricorn we haven't seen it since 500 years. And that was the time it correlates not necessarily to the day, but I think to the month of Martin Luther nailing his theses to the church door in protest. And that was the beginning, the catalyst of the Reformation. And so we're seeing another Reformation. So this is really exciting. We're coming around to that place in the spiral of consciousness again, but we're at a higher, wider place. See how it goes around and round and round. Each time it gets wider, more expanded, higher. Okay, so let's talk about this. This is a map of human consciousness expansion. And those of you who have been with me for a long time, like the past year and a half, you probably remember I did a video where I showed you this. But I think this is time to take another look at this. So the first level is beige, and it relates to survival. The second level is purple, and it's all about your kin and the mystical world. You know, this is when they saw the world as being animistic, and they saw divinity, and it was a little bit scary to them. So they would use ritual, and this was the beginning of religion and spirituality and mysticism. And they tried to, you know, to plead with the gods to help them and do rituals and things like that. And then red is the energy of might makes right and domination. And this is about expressing power in the human species, okay? That humanity is replacing itself. I mean, replacing the gods with itself, okay? And then blue is all about law, making codified laws to try to make some sense out of the chaos of red. And so red would be like Alexander the Great, but blue is codified law. And so the Hammurabi Code is actually the first example of codified law to try to make sense out of the chaos. And the thing to understand is we don't all move at the same level. There's a core for humanity, there's a core for a nation, and there's a core for a human being. So we're not all moving at the same pace, okay? So in the United States and also the developed world, orange is all about science, and it's about economics and enterprise. And so this was the Industrial Revolution and the Scientific Revolution and the Information Revolution and capitalism expanding around the globe and enterprise. So we were thinking, you know, with our brains, and we were thinking, you know, mechanistically, scientifically, materialistically, and seeing how we could advance ourselves as a species. And then green is pluralism. And as I said, green is the color of the heart, and green is the color of the earth. And environmentalists call themselves green. And I think it's very interesting that all three of these things, the heart chakra, the earth, and this idea of pluralism, this idea of expanding ourselves out to include not just other people, all kinds of people, but also other species, you know, other plants, animals, the earth. We're expanding out our sense of self to include all of that. That's green. Green is pluralism. But there's a problem here, because these lower levels of consciousness expansion for human beings, they have this tendency to make others wrong. So when you're at green, you think orange, blue, red, purple, and beige are wrong. You know, a lot of people in green don't like orange. And I think it's very interesting that a lot of people refer to Donald Trump as orange, because he literally is he's toxic orange. And toxic means that when the energy of that particular color, that particular level of consciousness is out of control, it's not balanced with the others, it becomes toxic rather than supportive and helpful. And so in Donald Trump, he's literally an example of toxic orange, which is kind of funny. And then green is, you know, when people, like I said, you know, like the green movement, you know, people want to include all human beings and all species on the entire earth, and create a collective well-being throughout the entire earth, and seeing how we're all connected, you know. But the problem is when we say, oh, that, you know, orange is no good, or blue is no good, red is no good, purple's no good, beige is no good, and judging those below. Like orange is judging blue and red and purple and beige. And so, so that's actually harmful. The second tier, you see here, it's listed as new tier. The first color of the second tier is yellow, and the second tier is called integral, which means that you integrate all of these, just like nesting, Russian nesting dolls, you know, they nest within each other. And so instead of, you know, saying, well, I'm green, so orange, blue, red, purple, and beige are not good, I'm rejecting them, I'm judging them, I'm saying you're no good. Instead, we're nested, and I realize that actually I need all of these within me, every single one of them. There are times when green might be the best way to, the best consciousness to be in, but sometimes orange is. Sometimes orange is the best consciousness to be in, because sometimes we need to be enterprising. Sometimes we need to be scientific. Handling this virus right now is incredibly scientific. That's orange. So that's good. Every single color has something to offer. And blue, we're also in blue right now. We're all agreeing to the rules. That's blue. And sometimes we need red, you know, if we're in danger. Code red, code red. And then purple is mysticism. That's about connecting to the divinity, connecting to spirit all around us. And beige is about survival, and we all need to survive. So we need all of these, okay? We need to integrate them like nested dolls, okay? They all lead to tier 2 in the development of consciousness evolution. So if you're in green right now, which most of you are, I think virtually everyone who comes to my channel is in green. Some of you have already shifted up to tier 2 in this consciousness expansion. You're already into the integral tier, second tier. And you're in yellow, which is integral, meaning that you've now integrated all of these. You're not saying that all these others are bad. You've integrated them. Okay. So most of the people at my channel are in green or in yellow. And so what I'm calling you guys, in terms of the North Node, I'm calling you to do something very important for the human species and for yourself. I'm calling you to evolve your consciousness out of first tier and into second tier yellow, which is integral, which means integrate all of these levels and stop judging those beneath you. You know what I'm saying? This is important. This is how we come together and how we solve the problems. So in yellow, let's see, this is, okay, that's the condition. There's a lot of, actually, there's an understanding of chaos at tier 2, which is yellow, integral. So we need to understand chaos and also the direction of our evolution. I just want to take you back to that chart really, really quickly again. The direction of our evolution we're being called karmically right here in the 8th house. The 8th house is joint resources, joint finances, but it's also the house of transformation. It's ruled by Pluto. It's the house of transformation. It's the house of intimacy, when we're intimately connected with other people, and vulnerability, when we allow ourselves to be vulnerable instead of being defensive. And it's also the house of deep psychological transformation. So we're in a transformation right now, folks. And it's all about love. It's about connecting with the heart and with abundance. So this Venus-Jupiter conjunction tells us that as a nation in our house of joint resources and joint finances, we are incredibly wealthy. We are one of the wealthiest countries on the entire planet. There is no need for scarcity thinking in this country. We need to connect with abundance. That's the way we need to transform. That's the direction of our evolution. That's the direction of our nation's evolution. And every citizen in this country, we need to do our job, which is connect to abundance and realize there is enough for everyone. And please don't point fingers. I know you guys are angry because of what you see. You know, I mean, usually we're pointing the finger at Trump or at Republicans, but this is a time where we need to stop pointing fingers and we just need to get busy with the work. You know, we need to take responsibility. You know, if they want to be children and play in their sandbox and fight with each other, that's fine. We need to rise above that. That's what evolving our consciousness is about, is rise above pointing fingers. Okay? And I mean, in a way, it's like hard not to, because I mean, my channel is all about like what are these people doing, you know? But I too want to get into this state of abundance and evolve my consciousness along with all of us here in this spiritual community. Okay, so before I show you the other two charts, I think I just want to show you another thing about spiral dynamics. So this is, it's not in the shape of the spiral, it's just mapped out here, but it tells you what each thing is about. So this is the first level, beige, and that's, you know, at the bottom of the spiral. And then it works up to purple, red, blue, orange. And so if you're interested in this, you know, it's super easy to do research online or even through YouTube. There's tons and tons of resources out there to learn more about it. So again, most of us here on my channel are in green or yellow. Green is the shared habitat wherein humanity can find peace and purposes through affiliation and appreciating life's diversities. It's relativistic. There's empathy to feel and desire to respond to human needs. It's affiliative, situational, consensual, and context aware. And then we're also, like I said, many of us have evolved up to tier 2, which is yellow. That's integral, because it means we've shifted up to tier 2, which is the integrated level. We're integrating all these beneath them instead of judging them and pointing fingers and saying they're bad, they're wrong. We've integrated. And so yellow says a chaotic organism with underlying order, where change is the norm and uncertainty an acceptable state of being as knowledge evolves. It's systemic and finds interconnections and layered causes, learns constantly, puts function over love, status, rules, or power. And the reason that may sound really strange, puts function over love, status, rules, or power, what that means is that function over love means that instead of saying, you know, I'm right, you're wrong, and you know, these are my kin, this is my tribe, don't you dare come near us. It's saying we're going to put that aside. The things that we love, we're going to put that aside for the moment in order to make sure that the system is functioning properly to meet the needs of everyone. So I may not love those people over there, but I am going to do what needs to be done from a rational perspective to make sure that the system functions properly so that everybody's needs get met. But then the nice thing is, then once that's done, then we can go up to turquoise and we can go back into the individual, because these are actually, they're individual and collective. So beige is individual, it's all about survival. Purple is collective. It's the collective spiritual, religious pursuits, the rituals. The church, you know, was formed from the energy of purple because it's all about wanting to please the gods. Going to temple was all about purple. That's the collective. Red is individualistic again. It says might makes right. So you can see here, it's egocentric, asserting self for dominance, conquer nature, exploitative, concerned with shame, no guilt, impulsive, and immediate. And if you want to get to tier 2, you need to stop blaming other people for being this way. They can't help themselves, literally. They literally cannot help themselves because they haven't evolved to this point yet. So let's see here. Anyway, blue goes back into the collective. It's all about following the rules. Orange is individualistic again, like the capitalist economy is individualistic. Green is the collective again. And yellow is individualistic. It's the mixture, you know, it goes back into the individual, and yet it's also collective because it's integrating all of these levels below it. And turquoise is also collective. So these repeat the lower levels. So beige is the higher integrated level, where we focus on what do we need to survive as a collective and as an individual. And turquoise is a higher level of purple. So, so we go back to our spirituality. It says, a delicately balanced system of interlocking forces in some jeopardy at humanity's hands, in need of compassion and comprehension. It's holistic. There's experiential learning, transpersonal living, collective consciousness, and refreshed awareness of energetic fields. And then coral is the higher level of red. And so we go back into individualistic needs, but still, because it's integral, we're still integrating the collective, the needs of the collective. And this one, it says too soon to say, but should tend to be I-oriented. Controlling? No, I don't think so. See, that's the problem with the higher levels, is that we don't have enough examples of them, because most human beings at this planet who are highly evolved are still in somewhere in green or yellow. And so that's the problem with turquoise and coral, is that they haven't been clearly defined yet, because only a few people actually on this planet actually exist in the consciousness level of turquoise and coral. But it says, next, neurological capacities. The theory is open-ended up to the limits of human sapiens brain. So you can see here that even at coral, it's like they don't yet know what it's going to look like, because there may be a few human beings on the planet who are existing at that level of consciousness, but not enough to really know what that's going to look like. So so again, at the higher levels, and I know that's people who are coming to my channel, you're either at the level of green, or you shifted up to tier 2 and yellow, which is integral, meaning you've integrated all the levels below. And there may be a few here also who are at turquoise. I think that, like, when I listen to the other readers, you know, the other astrologers, readers, psychics, and spiritual teachers, I can tell that a lot of them have even moved up into the turquoise level of consciousness. So, so that's the goal for humanity, is to evolve our consciousness as a species and as individuals. Okay, so let's go back and look at the charts again. So, as I said, in this chart, I'm focusing primarily on the North Node, because that's karmic. That's the direction of our evolution. It's right over Venus. Venus is the relationships. Venus is love. Venus is the heart chakra, and she's everything that we love, everything we're passionate about. She's our creativity. She's our connections to each other. This is abundance. This is all about abundance. The North Node here is saying we need to evolve and recognize the incredible abundance all around us. We need to get out of fear and out of scarcity thinking and into love and unconditional love and heart consciousness, and realize there is enough for everyone, and to stop pointing fingers and blaming other people and judging other people, and just say, okay, I'm willing to be responsible now. I'm going to take responsibility for evolving my consciousness, because each individual who evolves their consciousness raises the consciousness of the entire species. And in fact, there's a book called Power versus Force, which talks about the frequency vibration. And when you're at a higher frequency vibration of unconditional love and abundance, that your consciousness actually has more power. So if you take one person who's in the state of unconditional love and gratitude and abundance, their consciousness is like can be 10,000 times more powerful than those who are afraid. And I believe that's true. I absolutely believe that's true. So every one of us who can raise our consciousness and evolve our consciousness right now is helping the entire species to survive. Okay. So let's look at the next chart, which comes this summer. And so I will bring that up right now. So this is the one where the eclipse is right over the ascendant of the United States chart, and it's also activating Uranus and Mars in the 7th house of others. Venus is retrograde. So, and it's squaring Mars and Pisces conjunct Neptune, and Neptune is squaring Mars. And also this is the degree at which Venus actually turns retrograde. So she turns retrograde there right on top of Mars, squaring Neptune. Okay, again, Neptune is the virus. Mars is inflaming it. Mars is the inflammation, infection, fever. So when as Mars is moving into conjunction with Neptune, it's inflaming it. That's why I said this is just the first wave. And I know you guys really want this to be over, but I would be remiss in my duties if I did not tell you the truth. Because if you think this is going to be over, then you won't be prepared for the second wave. And I do believe that it's going to start in mid-May with the, as the planets go retrograde, especially Venus, because Venus activates the Mars square the Neptune. And and then at the time of the June 5th eclipse, Mars will inflame the illness, and we'll have a second wave that I believe will actually be worse than the one we're experiencing right now. That's why we have to get prepared and not be afraid. Remember, the direction of our evolution is love and abundance and connection, and knowing that we all have our needs met, to get out of fear and to get into love, to connect with the unconditional love and abundance in our hearts and gratitude in our hearts, and know that we actually do have our needs met. If there's anyone here who literally doesn't have a place to live or food to eat, then leave a message, because maybe there's some people on this who are watching this video who have something to share, you know. I mean, all of us, I think pretty much all of us have experienced a setback. You know, it's not my place to say what others should do with their resources, but I think it's probably true that virtually everyone, there may be a few who have not experienced any change at all, but I think most of us have experienced a decline in our income. And so we're learning, we're adjusting, you know, like trying to lower expenses and things like that, so that we don't get ourselves into financial trouble, so we can continue to pay our bills and make sure that our needs get met. But you know, there may be people out there who literally have no place to live and nothing to eat. So if you're one of those people, then, you know, please leave a comment, because maybe there might be someone out there who knows how you can get some resources, and can share that information with you. All right, so let's see what else. Okay, so this is going to be pretty challenging, but there will be a new moon that comes after this. This is really interesting. I got to show you guys this. So let me pull up that chart. Okay, so this is a new moon, a total new moon eclipse, and it's bringing something new. Now, this is going to take a while. It's not going to happen overnight. As I said before, the eclipses have now moved into, at this time, they actually changed signs in May. They'll be in the same axis of where they were during the 1918 Spanish flu epidemic. So, you know, so this isn't going to be over quickly. And Venus goes retrograde over our national Uranus 3 times. First time direct, second time retrograde, and third time direct. So she's really highly activating these 2 points in our chart. This is a big deal, really big deal. And the we're already in the beginning of the revolution. We're moving into the revolution. We're moving into the age of Aquarius with Saturn in Uranus squaring the natal Uranus in the 6th house of Taurus, work and body of our nation. There's going to be a revolution. And this, we're already seeing the beginning of it now. And there's going to be a massive transformation. We're already seeing the beginning of it now. So this new moon eclipse, this total new moon eclipse conjunct the North Node, is the direction of our evolution, and it's planting a seed for something new in the 8th house of transformation and in the 8th house of joint resources and joint finances. And I think what it's activating right here over Venus, it's activating love. It's activating abundance. It's activating this idea that there is enough for everybody. We don't need to live in scarcity. We don't need to live in a reality where, you know, resources are scarce and we all have to compete. No, there's enough. There's enough for everybody. And we can trust that because we're living in our hearts now. We're evolving our consciousness and we're living in our hearts now. Okay? So that is good news. Now, it does take time. These things don't happen overnight. They take time. But do know that something really, really beautiful is coming, and we're all a part of creating it. Every single one of us, all of you out there watching this video, you're part of creating that. So we need to stop pointing fingers at other people and saying what they're doing wrong and what they should be doing, and say, what can I do to bring about the direction of our nation's evolution? What can I do to bring about the evolution of consciousness in the human species? Because if you can do that for yourself, you've already done that for the human species. You've done your part. All right, so this is super exciting. Really is, and it's not just that we have this incredible opportunity right now to evolve, especially if we can get out of the energy of fear and scarcity and panic and see that we're all going to be okay in the end. This is going to be okay in the end. And that we have work to do. Okay, we have work to do right now. There's no time to waste, because if we don't get on the ball, then what's coming in 18 years when we come around to the cycle again will be so much worse than this. This will literally look like a walk in the park. This will look like a picnic compared to what we will have to deal with in 18 years if we don't do our work now of evolving our consciousness now, every single one of us. Okay, so I've given you your work to do, and I've got my work to do. So let's get it done, okay? All right, so, I hope that anyone who is coming to my channel and seeing the work that I'm doing, please subscribe, because that helps me to build my channel. That helps me to reach a wider audience and build this community so they can hear this message too. And ring the bell for notifications so you know that these new videos are coming. I'm going to try to do daily videos now. I have other work to do, obviously, as well, but I will do my best. And I want to give a shout out and a thank you to all of my patrons. Thank you so much for supporting me, and for all the people who've ordered readings and who've signed up for my workshops and who are viewing my videos. Thank you for helping me to continue doing this work. It's really important work, and I feel so blessed to be able to do it. All right, so again, if you want to join the 6-week astrology workshop, click on the link below, or if you want a reading, click on the link below. And if you get them as a package, then the combo is discounted. All right, so that's it for today, and I look forward to reading your comments. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.